If your toddler is about to start daycare soon, then this video is for you. Most of the things I'll be sharing today came as a surprise to me when my toddler started daycare, so I hope I can help you be more prepared. So let's get into it. Number one, make sure your toddler is fully vaccinated, and if your toddler has any allergies, your family doctor will need to fill out a required form for your daycare. Number two, prepare your toddler with a few things in mind. So how often do they nap? Is it once a day, twice a day, and what time is the nap? Best case scenario is a few weeks before your toddler starts daycare, you try and follow a very similar nap routine to the one your toddler will have at daycare. This will really help the transition for your toddler to be smoother. Another thing I wish I had done was to train my toddler to fall asleep independently, at least for afternoon naps, so at daycare he would have no problem falling asleep on his own. Lastly, it's good to know what time your toddler will be eating at daycare. So that way, similar to naps, you can actually follow a similar routine at home a few weeks prior to your toddler starting daycare, again to have a little bit of a smoother transition and your toddler knows what to expect at what time, because we all know toddlers love routine. Number three, prepare yourself mentally, because chances are your toddler will cry for a week, maybe 2 weeks, or maybe a little bit longer. My toddler started daycare at 15 months, and in our experience, for my toddler, it took him a few weeks to adjust and not cry at drop-off anymore. Number four, some parents decide to drop off their toddler for their first day of daycare for a full day. And some parents decide to have a more gradual approach. If possible, I would recommend to go with a more gradual approach. What this means is, for the first couple of days, you bring in your toddler for a few hours to play with the kids and get to know the teachers. The third and fourth day, you bring them for a few hours to play and maybe an afternoon nap on that fourth day, or even depending on how they're doing, third and fourth day. And then only the fifth day would be their full day at daycare. Number five, be prepared for your toddler to be a little fussier than usual in the evenings, because they might not have taken a nap at daycare, or their nap might have been much shorter than usual. I find that this is very common with kids who are just starting daycare, especially for the first couple of weeks. Number six, if your toddler is starting daycare in the winter, you need to be prepared for your toddler to be sick quite often. My toddler started daycare in September. It is now January, and to this day, he has been sick on and off. In the long run, it does help strengthen their immune system, so do not worry. On that same note, if you are going back to work and your job is not very flexible, make sure you have a backup plan. Make sure you have somebody who will be available for the next couple of months to stay with your toddler in case they need to be at home because they're not feeling well. Number seven, prepare yourself to get sick a few times as well. Make sure you take preventative measures, but I really think it's unavoidable. I am someone who rarely gets sick, but the viruses they bring from daycare are a different kind. I was probably sick for more than a month in the last 4 months. Now let's move on to essentials. Number one, this might be so obvious, but I want to mention it anyway. Do not dress your kids in fancy, nice clothes, because at the end of the day, they will always come home with some sort of paint stains and marker stains, and believe it or not, a lot of these stains do not wash away even with stain remover. In terms of clothes to bring to daycare, like winter items, these are some of my recommendations here. So these are my toddler's essentials for daycare. We honestly love every single item I put on here. At the top here is his snowsuit from Walmart. It is so warm, it is easy to put on, and I love that it's a two-piece. The next item is balaclava. It's a must-have for any cold winter. I love that it covers neck, ears, and head all in one. Then the winter boots. I love that they're not so bulky like all the other brands I've seen. It's a trusted brand with their own patent technology that makes these shoes super warm. Lastly, for this winter section is these little gloves for toddlers for their little fingers. They're so warm and they have a little zipper on the side. Last but not least, these Munchkin spill-proof water cups are a must-have. We have them in so many different colors and designs. Number two, backpacks. There's really no need for your toddler to have a backpack because they won't be able to carry one big enough to fit all of their clothes. So you might as well just use a bag you already own, like a duffel bag or whatever you have at home, because there's a lot of items that you will need to bring on a daily basis. If your toddler really wants one, or you really want one for your toddler to have, then feel free to purchase a small backpack for them to carry smaller items. I just want to say that this can be a challenging time for parents, and in my 19 months as a mother, this has probably been one of the most challenging times. So I just want to say that it is all worth it. My toddler is extremely social, he's making friends, and I just know that he's really, really happy there. I also want to add that my husband and I chose a francophone daycare for my toddler, while my husband and I don't speak any French. So I was definitely worried about that transition the most. But fast forward to today, he's able to follow all directions, he interacts with his teachers and his friends, he participates in singing and dancing and all of that with his teachers and his friends, only in French. I wish you good luck with your journey, and I really hope that you found my experience and my tips useful to you.